Hello and welcome everyone to another episode on our series where we're taking interviews of students across the top P schools all across India. Today we are having with us Sadhitra Biswas, who is a graduate from SIBM Bangalore, here to share his experiences there and what it was like to actually study at SIBM Bangalore. So, Sadhitra, can you just give us a small introduction on your profile and your journey to SIBM Bangalore?
Yeah. Hi everyone. So uh, I am from. I began my journey from Hindu College, and I'm a graduate of political science, B honors in political science, and to be honest, MBA was not really my. So when I started my graduation, so MBA was not really on my cards at that time, but I used to observe and take part in these conferences and all these things, and I suddenly started to sort of build interest because I was able to see that how to engage with different stakeholders and how to the entire management system that was there. So that got me strangely interested in the managerial side of things, and so I tried in the first time in 2019,
Mhm.
and that time I had this sort of this fixation that person of my background must be like I would be probably good for a particular. I wanted to get into HR at that time,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean at that time, initial stages. So I
Right.
thought, all right, I'll start my preparations and all, and and from 2019 I did. But later on, I like the next year I tried again. So at that time, I got more shifted towards finance. So my journey has been it's been through a lot of a lot of places, like within MBA.
Uh,
So
right.
that got me really interested,
Mhm.
and so I gave all the exams, CAT, SNAP, everything, and
Okay.
and as a person from the arts, it was already a very niche choice to make because mostly people from my background, they go towards either civil services or they prepare for
Mhm.
a master. They do masters and they do law and all.
Right.
So that was the usual progression. But I was my mind was went towards doing something very different. And
Mhm.
at the same time, I wanted to be into the managerial space because,
Mhm.
I simply found it very fascinating because you really learn and grow as a person because so people I knew who were already doing MBA and already done MBA had seen a marked change in their personality. So
Mhm.
so in 2021 I got my admission in SIBM Bangalore.
Mhm.
So and from there my journey has been like initially. So I ended up taking marketing because there were
Okay.
at that time, like I said, like the thing about an MBA is it gives you a space to try out a
Mhm.
lot of things,
Mhm.
and you might think, okay, I'll be going for this MBA, and you have this. Some people have it sort of figured out, and some people they give that leverage to the experience. So
Mhm.
I had assumed that I had figured it out. But I thought there were so many opportunities. I leveraged that. I thought I should give experiences. I should let the experience teach me what I like
Mhm.
because and as it turned out that I liked marketing as well.
Mhm.
So I took that as a specialization in my second year. In the
Okay.
first year, so we are taught everything from A
Right.
to Z: marketing, finance, HR, ops, everything.
Right.
And in the second year, you get the chance to. So
Mhm.
there we had the system of soft freezes, where top two choices you have to say. So I had marketing and finance. And I gave myself more time. So by the end of the first year, I realized that I'll be better off in marketing because marketing is what I feel is very versatile and it
Mhm.
in its own way. So that was my logic, and I was
Yes.
really developing a lot of interest because there were these. We read about Porter, we read about so many models and ants of matrix and all,
Mhm.
and I was like, no, this sounds fun, and also at the same time how brands grew what led to the shortfalls in a couple of brands, what led to the growth of the brand. I mean, it's like reading their history. So I like reading about history myself, and I'm sort of a history buff, you can say. So
Okay.
I was able to align it. That okay, it's fascinating from that end. So that really sort of fascinated me. So that's how my journey went.
Wow, that's a fantastic area. Coming from a background of political science, then thinking from HR, then to finance, and then finally arriving at marketing. That must have been quite the journey. And can you brief us on how your summer internship went? Because I would imagine that played a big part in your choosing your specialization into being marketing. So at the end of the first year, having an internship is like a key part of most MBA programs across the country. So how was that experience? How did that build you up? What did that teach you?
So my summer internship was at Geo Creative Labs. It's so it's a advertisement marketing agency, and it's part of the Geo. Yeah. So that was the culture there was a very big sea changer, because I was hired in the marketing domain, and there I was specializing in content marketing. So, but it didn't just end there, because we were also allowed to choose between different profiles. So I did content. I entered as a content marketing, but ended up doing content marketing, research and strategy, which was a separate team. And then I also decided to challenge myself to go towards even brand alliance. So it was like, before that in marketing, I had most of us actually, many people whom I've talked to have this thing that, okay, if it's marketing, I would like to go to a more marketing oriented field and less of a sales oriented field. Nobody that hesitation is there. Even I had that for most part. But then I realized that that it is kind of pointless, because both complement each other so well and to understand marketing, you need to get your hands really into the sales part, because that has a big role to play. So so what you can think versus what you can act, that alignment is possible because you need both backgrounds for that. Right. And I decided to we worked with many great brands, and there were even celebrity clients as well, because it's an ad agency, so it has a very big clientele. So there I was engaged in preparing pitch decks, brainstorming, that tense environment of deadlines and all. And then also Geo Creative Labs provided me that opportunity to not to restrict myself when it comes to taking a particular project. So we had the structure there was very towards in the flat end. So it was very easy to reach out to the ones I reported. So they were very friendly, and many of them guided me, and that was pretty much there. So also, it kind of, being in an ad agency has its own perks, because you are constantly in the loop of generating ideas and seeing its implementation from ideation to properly testing it, and then finally designing the pitch decks and all. So we used to directly be part of while pitching it to our clients directly. So our clients were from all the industries, by the way. So they were travel, as I said, celebrity, snacking, beverage, and there were all sorts of clients. So that experience really was something that was very, very dynamic. So I had done internships before this also, but this one was very much versatile. It was like you could be anywhere. So I was able to see that there's a lot to learn. And as a fresher, it was even better for me. So that thing is there.
That's absolutely fantastic. And do you think that played a big part in where you did your internship? Played a big part in where you got your final placement? Did you think that had any effect?
Oh yes, yes it did. I mean, working at Geo Creative Labs, like I said, if you do so many roles together, you have a lot of things to talk about. And also the learning that you have and versus what you study in the academia, you're able to easily see the two things. And in my final placement, that really did help, because summer internships are not just a means of getting marks, but also at the same time it is it is an experience that kind of teaches you, kind of gives you the trailer of entering into the corporate life,
Right.
and that this is how it's going to be. So and this kind of prepares you, and also how you should maintain different relationships with different stakeholders. How you should communicate your ideas, and how you should understand the company's culture, and how you should understand the client's sentiments and the challenges that they present. So these things definitely helped me in my final placement.
That's great. And speaking of final placement, you got placed at KPMG, and congratulations on that, by the way. And can you brief us on how that process happens at SIBM Bangalore? What does the placement season look like? How does it start? How does it end?
So, yeah. So the placement seasons started around, I think it was late August of 2022, and and generally the finance companies came up first, and then it slowly moves to different specialization. That, of course, that depends on the hiring process in the industry. So the placement season began from August, and so marketing companies started coming a month later on. So before that, it was mostly finance. So and it went on till January, the entire season, January of 2023, and the process was very, very seamless, I would say, because we had, we were all registered on sites like Superset. It was very easy to. So the placement committee at our college, from the first year itself. Now this I said about the second year, but from the first year itself, they kind of streamline you into this proper structure of your CV, what is important, what is not important. So even if your CV is not that polished before coming to the college, it really upgrades itself. So it's like if you think that you don't have much of an experience, how are you going to get placed? So that anxiety is always there. For freshers, it is even more, because we don't have job experience. So we think what's going to happen, but our placement committee was really hands down. They did their job, and so we used to have live projects. We used to have training sessions. We used to have case study competitions. So all of these avenues were open, and we got so many opportunities to upgrade our CV, and also at the same time that used to give us these trainings, and then there was these mock sessions also. So they used to take mock interviews. So like if you want to go into a particular role, let's say, so our seniors used to, in the committee, they used to ask us all the questions. And there were also like cross committee members who would come and they used to help us prepare. And apart from that, there is a system of there was this enhanced CVR that we had, where first our seniors, then when we became seniors, we helped our juniors to enhance their CVs and all. So that kind of was there. And in the second year, when the placement seasons happened, because of those efforts, the process was even more so. So it was like that. And KPMG, I remember, speaking about my own experience, KPMG had come around October, late September, October. So there was a MCQ round that they had. So there were a lot of layers of rounds. So MCQ round was then followed by 3 layers of interview rounds. So the first round, the second was that's where the grilling actually happened. And then final, now that was and finally was the HR round. So there were 2 rounds of technical and 1 round of HR. So that's how the process went. It was very smooth, very, there's this, you are excited, you are nervous, that tense thing is also always there.
Okay. And speaking of the placement committee, so clubs and committees are like a core part of MBA students' life, right? So being part of something, most things are student run. So you have a placement committee, you have the training cell, you have different clubs like marketing, finance, and so on. So can you give us a small glimpse of what that's like at SIBM? And any clubs you're part of as well?
Yeah, so, in terms of participation, I tried across different committees and clubs, But in committees, I was not, I couldn't be part of. But in clubs, I was part of Toastmasters Club, and it was a great experience. I mean, I had small issues with public speaking and on, and Toastmasters in our college was fantastic. I mean, every week that used to be conducted, and people from not just our college, from other B schools, from not just B schools, even from the corporate industries, they used to be present, and they used to either be judges or they used to be the participants, and it really improved your speaking skills. And at the same time, there was swathe of topics you could talk about, and and so that was in that way, it was a very epic experience for me.
Okay. And so you were part of the Toastmasters Club, and what is the facility at SIBM for, let's say, sports and everything? Because as I recall that SIBM Bangalore has a small campus. So what do you do for sport?
So sports. I mean, we have facilities for basketball. We have it for badminton, and there are programs. Which are organized, sports specific. So we have the Premier League that we have for for all the cricket aficionados, and we had that. And there was also this junior team versus the seniors team. And that was even there across, different sports, not just restricted to cricket. Even basketball was there, and even badminton was there. So we have various rounds and all. There are prize distribution ceremonies and everything that's in place.
Right. And what about student exchange programs? Do you guys have any student exchange programs with, let's say, foreign universities? Is that a thing at?
Yeah, we have foreign exchange programs with Berlin School of Law, if I recall correctly, and even Dauphin University in Paris. We have, so there are these student exchange programs that do happen.
Do you think they're worth it? Student exchange programs, they tend to be expensive ventures, and a B school student is usually already on loans. Do you think a student exchange program is worth it?
That is, I would say that's a very open-ended question. So, if you really want to explore if you're into internationally bent sort of person, or you want to expand your horizon of knowledge, then sure. I mean, that depends on the courses they offer. So I think it is a very bespoke way of the answer is very customized, I would say, because it depends from person to person.
Okay.
That's true for I would say that's true for all B schools, because again, a B school is there to give us the opportunities. In the end, it's us who have to do the grind. So that is also there. Yeah.
Right. And what were your expectations going into SIBM Bangalore? Did you have that, okay, this is what I'll be doing, and were you able to meet all those expectations?
I would say it was pretty interesting, because I thought that before SIBM, so as I said, my initial interest was in finance, and I was going there specifically with getting something in finance. And but again, like I said, we had professors, and the faculties were, a couple of the faculties I do remember, I mean, they generated so much interest in various disciplines that it kind of opens up your mind from the bias. And I still love in finance, and my role is in at KPMG. Unfortunately, it involves marketing, what I've learned, and also it involves my industry specific interests in finance. So I was able to sort of, I got a role that kind of marries these two things. So I mean, in terms of faculty, so we had one professor. He was a finance teacher, but he took one of our electives, which is called marketing and financial services. And believe me if I say this, the stuff about marketing that I was learning from core marketing classes. I was able to see its application in his class, and he taught marketing in its most practical sense. And he was someone who has an experience. Like most of the faculties are from premier institutes in our country, and he had even industry experience wise. So he, for example, he was in Wall Street, and he specializes in a very specific niche field of finance, which called derivatives. So in derivatives, derivative financing, structured products, and also he has that experience, and he was very humble, and he used to be very encouraging. That he didn't discriminate on the basis that you are a non-finance person.
Okay.
So I'm going to treat you differently. I mean, he used to act like that, but then the way we were taught about marketing, oddly enough, we were given case studies, and not just case studies, we were taught how to apply and solve problems like we were executives in a company. So that opportunity is there. So they throw you into the practical fold. And one more thing was there, that I had this thing, that comfort zone thing, if you are in a B school, initially I had this thing that I have this thing planned and I'll be here. But then the real challenge of learning is you have to throw yourself into the other areas. You have to be uncomfortable to eventually be comfortable.
Right.
So through learning. So I would say I learned that fact by getting exposed to the opportunities.
Okay. And speaking of faculty, was there any other faculty that you, like you just said, that blew you away? What subjects did they take? What subjects do you think most interested you in your MBA journey? And which faculty?
One in my second year, I remember, was business to business marketing. So I thought that I had preconceived notions long back that it would be very similar, but then there are these marked differences between B2C versus B2B. So our professor, he already had an industry exposure. So he used to give us, he always gave a very practical example, and it was just filled with, so every time he used to explain a concept, he used to give examples from his time in the industry. And that made B2B so as a subject, which was initially I found it to be a bit complicated, but then when he used to give, the minute he used to give an example, then it used to become so fluid and so easy to understand. So, and apart from that, another subject that I liked was services marketing. So that was pretty it was pretty fun. Our professor was very very chill about it. So, and he used to always make it very comical, and used to encourage. So all the faculties that I am talking about, they used to encourage this culture of discussions and debates to make classes more interactive.
Got it. And are there any stories that you remember from your college life that you think stick out or stand out from the entire experience?
So it mostly involved my friends, and the case study thing can be one, but then again, and social life and all. So I made a lot of friends. So my 2 years were divided into the online phase and the offline phase. So it was a hell and heaven difference. But the good thing is that I got to meet a lot of people, because and from them you develop valuable friendships. So I would say we always used to be very exploring Bangalore and all. We always used to have always used to have these plans, and spending time with them, exploring areas like, let's say, Koramangala and all, because I had never been to Bangalore. And a couple of my friends were locals from the city, and they had stayed there for quite some time. So they used to show me around, and And at the same time, mostly, so I'm a big foodie. So always it used to be what to have for a particular for dinner and all. So these were mostly the memories, and of course, used to play a lot of sports. So I personally love badminton. So there, almost every day we used to play, and we used to share snippets of our lives with each other and all. It was really fun because you are there with people who are not just from different disciplines, but also they have different work experience. So all of us are together in this, and you always work in groups, and that too not in same groups. Would be there in different groups. So there would be different strengths. So for example, there were a couple of subjects we knew that the people from commerce, they can handle us. They can help us out. So we used to seek their help. And then it used to be like that. And people who had experience used to share snippets from their past experience. And so in a way, I think these were, I would say, the fond memories that I had in college.
That's great. That's great. And where is the social adda for SIBM Bangalore? Like, where do you guys go out to hang out and chill?
So it used to mostly be our canteen and the amphi. These were the two places where you would find. And also there was a small, area just outside the mess where people used to just sit down and chat all day. But it was mostly canteen. So you chat, and after a few minutes we used to go there and order something. We used to say like, okay, let's country, and then let's buy. So yeah, that typical college life thing was there. So yeah.
Okay. And okay, so what do you think is like the, let's say, worst thing about your campus, if you had to say about your college?
I would say that I couldn't get much time to spend because 2 years, one was online. So that thing I sort of hated because, you could have spent more time. But apart from that, I would say, it was the offline experience was, I would say, too small for us.
Okay.
Yeah, in a way. Like, okay, 1 year is fine, but then again, 2 years is much better. So in a way, I would say it's that.
Fair enough. So I think we're nearing towards the end of the discussion, and I have just one last question for you. I just wanted to ask you, so considering everything, right, considering all the ups and downs, the whole journey, do you think your MBA was worth it?
I would say, yeah, it definitely was. I mean, I was completely a different person 3 years ago, I would say 2-3 years ago. And, the MBA teaches you a lot of things. So, like, things you should aspire to be, things you should not aspire to be. And, it teaches everything. So, it's like an experience has both positives and negatives, if you are at a place, that is. So, in my case, it was like, be always open to different experiences, because you never know which experience would be waiting for you and you might be meant for it. And it also would be that we never have preconceived biases, because it kind of inhibits you from an opportunity that could have been that could have led you to a very different place. So I would say that, and also, it really makes you gel with everyone a lot. And also it teaches you how to manage, really, that would be a very cliched answer, but I would say how to understand and manage various people, their interests, and how to, make a particular decision, all things considered. So, it makes you more decisive in a way.
Okay. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, Sadhitra, today. You've been really helpful.
It was
giving us a glimpse into SIBM.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
It's been a pleasure talking to you as well. And I think we can end the session on that front. Thank you so much, Sadhitra, once again.